This is The Huddle, presented by the Midwest Christian Boys Football Camp, otherwise known as Man Camp. Welcome to The Huddle. Hey friend, welcome back in The Huddle. I'm Mike McCurry, your host. I'm joined by Pastor Jay Griggs. I'm so thankful for your investment in football camp and me. We've had the opportunity to work together in multiple different ways. We've coached against each other at football camp. Spoiler alert, I think he got the better of me vast majority of the times. But in all seriousness, as we work together for the cause of Christ, we are heart and soul knit on this idea of using gospel tracts.
Oh, yeah.
We have personal convictions about it, but then also as I go to churches, I wish I could get churches and pastors, to be blunt, as sold out on using gospel tracts as you and your church are. Talk to us about your church. The size of the church versus the amount of tracts you guys put out in 2022 is staggering.
Oh, yeah. 2022, I set a goal for us as a church. And I wanted to get our people involved in at least distributing the gospel, even through the paper means as a gospel tract. So I set a goal at the very beginning of the year. And by the way, I think it's very important that every pastor sets a goal. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't set a goal, you're not going to hit anything. Right. You're not going to aim at anything. You're not going to hit anything. Bottom line. And that'll preach by itself, and I'm not going to do that. But I set a goal as a pastor. I said, look, 2022, what I want to do is I want to set a goal distributing 20,222 tracts for the year 2022. And so I laid that out there. People were just like, oh, preacher, that's a lot. At least it's a goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when it was all said and done, by the end of the year, we had actually distributed over 28,000 tracts throughout the year. And these were tracts that were printed by Bible Tracts. Mm-hmm. They were available on the website. These are the free tracts. We did not want to promote our church in any form or fashion. We just simply wanted to distribute the gospel.
Amen.
And to this very day, I mean, if one person would have opened one of those 28,000 tracts that we distributed and got saved through it, it would have been well worth it.
Absolutely. But then what it does for your church people, because you built off of this. And we're going to let me ask you a critical thinking question. How is your relationship with the gospel, with the Great Commission, with evangelism in any form or fashion? I mean, could you even slide a gospel tract across the counter to the cashier at Walmart and say, hey, would you mind reading this for a moment when you have a moment? Have you ever even done that? But you built off of that. You didn't just set a bigger goal for more tracts this time. You actually transitioned a little bit. You went from let's just mass distribute gospel tracts. And now what's the goal for 2023?
2023, the goal wasn't as much as distributing gospel tracts as it was people saved, people baptized, added to the church.
Which is going to require your church people to confront. And so they've confronted one fear about carrying gospel tracts.
Right.
They've gotten past that. And so I kind of call that like level one. We can carry gospel tracts. We can leave them without really talking to people. Even you can leave them in a public restroom. You can leave them on a gas pump, all that type of stuff. Yep. But in the last 45 seconds or so, talk to us about how important it is for us to be good stewards of the gospel. We've been given, if it's his last command, it probably should be our highest priority, right?
It's actually the highest priority in the life of a Christian. Jesus said, he laid it out there and basically said, I came to this world to seek and to save that which was lost. Right. That was his number one goal, and that should be our number one goal as a Christian.
And to think about at football camp, at Man Camp, at the Midwest Christian Boys Football Camp, we put a premium on seeing young people saved every year. I mean, the second decision card is phenomenal, and a good number of those are young men that have come to know Christ at football camp. Yes. But our desire isn't just to put notches on our belt and saying, we got people saved. And your desire, as you continue in the pastorate there in Eureka, Illinois, your desire is not to see people just saved. You want to see them baptized, taught, added to the church, even if they don't come to your church. You want to see them grow in the Lord. Right. And that's the goal of football camp. We're not just trying to see people saved for the sake of big numbers so we can announce decisions. We want to see young men, and it's been proven out with young men that have come through camp and are now in ministry serving God. We have one more day in this week of broadcasts. Thank you for joining us in The Huddle. God bless. Thank you for listening to The Huddle. You can find more information and register for Man Camp online at mancamp1994.org. Man Camp is a ministry of the First Baptist Church in Dwight, Illinois. Join us next time in The Huddle.